Black Adam. This is Black Adam. This book, man, I'll tell you something. This book, Black Adam here, I know it's reversed, but this book, Black Adam, this is really good. Really good. Hello, everyone. I'm Diego. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and we are going to talk some more about Black Adam, okay, on this wonderful Halloween day. I hope everyone's having fun. I hope they party safely. This weekend, oh my God, living here, there were some parties going on. My neighbors and stuff. I live in a high rise, okay? So there was a lot of costume parties going on this weekend. And it's Halloween, that's fun. You know, I got a little boy, you know, so it's fun. We're gonna watch monster movies and stuff. We already started actually. But anyway, so what we're gonna talk about today here on this Halloween day of 2022 is we're gonna continue my review and discussion of Black Adam. So I'm not just gonna review the movie, I'm gonna talk about the comic book industry in general, the character that you just saw here, okay, Black Adam. I know a lot about Black Adam. I know a lot about comic books. I've been reading comic books my whole life, for the most part. Okay, now what I usually do on this channel is I review chick shows and stuff, chick flicks. You know, I already reviewed all the Sex and the City episodes. I reviewed a lot of chick flicks. I'm going to review some more once I'm done with this. But I saw Black Adam last week when it premiered, and I couldn't watch this movie and not say something about it. Just about my feelings about the comic book industry in general, and then The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who I followed his career back when he was a wrestler. You know, so there's a lot going on here, a lot of drama going on in real life right now with Warner Brothers, the studio that made this movie. They got bought out by Discovery, and this is the first movie that's been released under the new head of DC, David Zaslav. And then they recently had a shakeup in corporate. They fired everybody. They fired Walter Mata. Now they fired Ann Sarnoff months ago. She was the head of DC. She was the head of Warner Brothers Film. Okay, they fired her a while back. Okay, they fired everybody pretty much. Okay, and they fired Walter Mata recently. They replaced him with what's in James Gunn, the guy that did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies for Marvel, for Marvel, and he finished Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and that's going to come out next year. And I guess he's doing a Christmas special or something. But they're putting him in charge. He's also responsible for the Suicide Squad movie that came out last year, not the first one from 2016. He's also responsible for the Peacemaker TV show, where he put his girlfriend in there as well. And now I guess he's married to her now. He's 56, she's 35. So yeah, she's got a great career ahead of her, especially now that he's in charge of Warner Brothers, right? So yes, there's a lot going on right now in real time as I'm doing this review. All right. Now, Black Adam's very close to my heart. I know this character very well. I'm a big fan. I actually like Black Adam more than I like Captain Marvel, the superhero who he is the villain of. Okay, Captain Marvel, the first Captain Marvel was a ripoff of Superman. He was, but he was actually more popular than Superman. He sold more comic books in the late 40s and in the early 50s than Superman did. So there was a lawsuit involved, and they managed to get Fawcett Comics to quit publishing Captain Marvel because they considered him a knockoff of Superman. Superman was a real deal, so that's what they did. They basically sued them into bankruptcy. They couldn't afford the legal fees anymore. And then once the rights became available, DC Comics in the early 70s, well, actually in the 60s, DC Comics got the rights to the character Captain Marvel, Shazam. They got the rights, so they own him now, including Black Adam and the Marvel family. But Marvel Comics picked up the rights to the name Captain Marvel. Okay, so as long as they continue to publish a superhero named Captain Marvel continuously, forever, DC Comics can never make a character named Captain Marvel and publish it and make money off of it. So what they did was they changed the name. They changed the name of Captain Marvel. Now, they didn't recently because they were still calling him Captain Marvel. Even in the 70s, they were still calling him Captain Marvel. But they couldn't call the title of the comic book Captain Marvel. They couldn't do that anymore. So they called it Shazam. Now, Shazam is two things. It's the name of the wizard that gave Captain Marvel his powers. And it is also the word that Billy Batson says to turn into Captain Marvel, his superhuman form. He needs to say that word to go back and forth, all right? It's the same word that his sister Mary Marvel also uses to turn back and forth. However, Captain Marvel Jr., the younger version, the one in the blue, the one Elvis based his look on, okay, that guy doesn't say Captain Marvel to turn into Captain Marvel Jr. He says Captain Marvel. He says the word Captain Marvel to turn into Captain Marvel Jr. He does not say the word Shazam. Okay, only Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel say the word Shazam, and so does Black Adam. He says the word Shazam. to turn back and forth into his powers. All right, but they call the comic book in the 70s, they call the comic book Shazam, but they still call the character Captain Marvel. And of course, if Captain Marvel's coming back, Black Adam's going to come back. All right, so now you have Black Adam there. I remember as a little boy, I saw Black Adam fight Superman and Captain Marvel, you know, and I remember watching a Black Adam, like he punched Superman to the ground. Like Superman was on his knees. I was like, whoa, who the hell can hurt Superman where Superman on the ground? You know, well, it was Black Adam. Okay, now Black Adam started off as an evil character. I mentioned this a few episodes ago, that he was a bad guy. It wasn't until the late 90s that the writer Jeff Johns, the guy that created Stargirl, that TV show on the CW right now, yeah, he created her based on his dead sister. Yeah, he was in charge. He was actually in charge of Warner Brothers. He was in charge of the DCEU for a while, and then they fired him after Justice League, the Joss Whedon version, underperformed, and they fired him. Okay, but yeah, he was a comic book writer first. Okay, and he created Stargirl, whatever, blah, blah. I forgot where I was going with this. But Jeff Johns was the one that decided, he reinvigorated the JSA, the Justice Society of America, back in the 90s, and he decided to add Black Adam onto the team. Now, you can't have a mass murderer, evil killer, evil version of Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel was also on the team. Shazam was also on the team. You couldn't have him in there and be an evil, bloodthirsty villain trying to take over the world and all that. You couldn't do that, okay? So they turned him into an anti-hero. That way he could be more sympathetic, okay? Because he was a cool character, but we can't have him killing little kids and women and stuff like that, you know, and still be on the superhero team. So they turned him into an anti-hero. It worked for a little while. It sparked some interest in the comics. I remember people were reading it. He still did not get along with Hawkman. He still was not friends with Captain Marvel, with Shazam. They were still not friends. Even though they're supposed to be arch enemies, working together in the same team. But he did become friends with Atom Smasher. Okay, Atom Smasher, who was the grandson of the Atom, the first superhero called the Atom, who was Al Pratt, this short little guy. Anyway, so they did become friends. Okay, eventually they decided to Black Adam. They decided to get him married. He got his own company. When the superheroes retired, the story was called the 52. Okay, when the superheroes retired, that's Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. They retired for 1 year. During that time, the comic book focused on all the other characters of the DCU. It was like Steel, The Question, Booster Gold got a big arc. Batwoman, yeah, that piece of shit show Batwoman, yeah, the lesbian one, yeah, her. These were the focus of a lot of stories during the 52 storyline, and also Black Adam was involved in that too. He had his own story going on in the 52. In that one, they actually made him happy. He was the ruler of Kahndaq, benevolent ruler of Kahndaq. He fell in love with a woman named Adriana. Okay, he married her, and he shared his powers with her the way that Captain Marvel shared his powers with his sister and his best friend. He shared his powers with her. She became Isis. And he shared his powers with her younger brother, who was a teenager, and they called him Osiris. So he had his own Black Marvel family. Okay, and he was happy as ruler, but then of course bad stuff happened. These evil scientists showed up there, and they created some creatures to kill everybody in his country. Anyway, his wife and his brother-in-law were killed. When that happened, he went nuts. Black Adam went evil again. He went on a full-blown fucking massacre. He actually killed an entire country of people. Okay, now these people were the ones that had sent these bad guys to infiltrate his country and cause a bunch of damage. They're the ones that killed his wife and his brother-in-law, but he took it out on the entire country. He killed all the leaders, he killed the president, he killed the generals, and he killed all the civilians too. Yeah, all the innocent people. He went full-blown Anakin Skywalker on everybody. So of course the Justice Society had to get involved. They couldn't really defeat him, he was too powerful. Captain Marvel showed up, Captain Marvel couldn't really beat him. So what he did was he managed to change the word that Black Adam used to turn back and forth. From Black Adam to Death Adam. By changing the word, while he was still in Death Adam form, he could no longer turn back into Black Adam, but he should have gone to jail, right? But no, Atom Smasher helped him out. I felt sorry for him because they're friends, and he let him get away. So of course, eventually, later, he does get his powers back, all right? And this is the story where that happens, okay? Now, I was going through this book here, and one thing I noticed about this book is a lot of scenes from the Black Adam movie with Dwayne Johnson are in this book. Okay, so obviously they used a lot of it. I mean, it's like shot for shot. A lot of match the movie exactly. Like Atom Smasher, there he is. He's the main character. Okay, in this story here. Okay, a lot of the scenes that I noticed in here were straight. The movie blatantly just took it straight out of this comic book. All right, so if you really are a Black Adam fan, you need to read this comic book. There's a lot of stuff in here. Like, look at this. Okay, here's Hawkman and Black Adam fighting. Okay. Now you know where they got the idea for that in the movie, all right? And there's a scene in here where, look at this, okay? You see this shot right here? This was in the trailer for Black Adam. Okay, now you see that kid there? Okay, see Black Adam's pose out there outside the window, how he looks at them while he's flying, and then you just see him going. Okay. That scene was not in the movie, but it was in the trailer. He was looking at a fighter jet. The fighter jets were telling him to land, and he just looked over, went back to it, and smashed one, and kept flying away. That was in the movie. Okay, that actually showed up in the movie. You know, look at this spot. This is a really good spot here, where they got see Hawkman and Black Adam threatening each other. You know, they don't get along. Okay, so that was in the movie too. Look at this. Look at this. Well, they're battling in the air, and Black Adam just fucking knocks Hawkman down to the ground. That happened in the movie. You know, a lot of stuff here. Okay, so I was really shocked that they used so much of this book into the Black Adam movie. You know, I was surprised at how much they, I don't want to say they plagiarized it, because DC Comics also owns this comic book, okay? But obviously, a lot of the stuff that they shot in this movie came from this comic book. And I've owned this comic book for, 10 years now, okay? But it's been a long time since I read it. I read it again recently, and that's when I realized that a lot of the stuff that you saw in the Black Adam movie came from this comic book. Like, look at this right here. Look at that. He's holding 2 terrorists up in the air, threatening them. Okay, that's straight. That was in the movie too. Okay, and look at this. This scene is exactly in the movie. Look at that. He's holding 2 of them up in the air, up in the clouds. He's holding 2 of the bad guys up there, threatening them. Okay, that was in the movie, just like you see it here. Okay, so yes, they did use this book a lot for the Black Adam movie. Okay, so I had to point that out. Okay, because it is important. Okay, that you understand like where a lot of this stuff came from and what they were trying to go with. Okay, all right. So now that we got the background out of the way here, let's talk about Black Adam the movie. Now, where I left off last time, we were still in the beginning of the movie. We already did the intro. Okay, so now we got Adriana Tomaz. That's her name, yeah. Okay, she's like she's a professor of Egyptian studies, whatever, in Kahndaq. Okay, and Kahndaq has been taken over by this criminal gang called Intergang. Yeah. Great name, huh? Yeah, they took over her country, and they have for the past 27 years, okay? And they're digging near the temple. They're looking for this Eternium metal. They're looking specifically for a crown called the Crown of Sabak, which is made by this magical metal, vibranium. Let me see, not vibranium, not unobtainium. Okay, it's Eternium. It's some fucking bullshit, lollipop land fucking metal, okay? Like that all the fucking superhero movies have to have it, right? Okay, even Hawkman himself, his wings, his armor's made of inth metal, wherever the fuck that is. And so is the ship. That's why it's indestructible. Yeah. Like that shit that Wolverine's claws have. Yeah, okay. Anyway, the point is, this shit shows up in comic books all the fucking time. All right. So there's also mystery fucking metal, whatever. Anyway, so they're digging for it. You see the dig side, the big excavation side. There's got lots of bulldozers, lots of cranes, lots of people in there. You know, they're digging for this fucking metal, okay? So they sneak in. We already saw that part. They get in there, and there's 4 people in the van. Okay, you've got Kareem. He's a fat fuck, but he's a nice guy. He's the brother of Adriana. Okay, he's a nice guy. He talks about how fucking women find him sexy because he's got a bald spot, you know, the curly hair. You know, yeah. And he likes to listen to fucking Baby Come Back by this band called Player, which came out in 1977, okay? It's one of those soft rock songs that are very popular. The shit that my mom used to fucking play in our fucking Honda Civic back in the late 70s when I was a fucking toddler sitting in the back seat. Mom would be playing shit like this, all the fuck that, and Gino Vanelli and James Taylor, you know? Yeah. And Carly Simon, yeah, you're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. Yeah, my mom would listen to that fucking song over and over again. And Barry Manilow, okay? Well, one of the other guys that was involved in that was fucking that song. It's a one-hit wonder song, Baby Come Back by Player. Okay, now one of the members of that band was this super good-looking guy, I guess. His name is Ron Moss. And he quit the band after this song. He had no future in the music industry, but he did become an actor. He was on a soap opera called Bold and the Beautiful, another fucking show that my mom watched. I never watched that piece of shit. Okay, but he was on that show, and he was a regular. Like, I guess he's been on that show for like 40 something years now. Okay, Ron Ma, he's an old man now, but when he started, he was a young fucking stud, Mr. Good Looking fucking stud. He was a better looking guy than he was a singer. That's fucking for sure. But anyway, Ron Moss, yeah. So yeah, he was responsible responsible for this fucking bullshit song, Baby Come Back, which is just another simp song from the 70s. Like I said, James Taylor, fucking Gino Vanelli, Daryl Hall and John Oates. Okay, this is all the shit that my mom fucking made us listen to in the backseat of her fucking Honda Civic in the late 70s when she was driving us around, okay? Yeah, so that's where I remember that song from. Anyway, well, apparently Kareem was sitting in the backseat with me because he loves that song too. All right, so yeah, he was there. Anyways, he's playing that fucking song. And the reason they did it, okay, first of all, James Gunn is in charge of DC Films now, so there's going to be a lot more of this shit. Any fucking one-hit wonder song they can pull out of the fucking 80s and the 90s, okay, that they don't have to spend a shitload of money on royalties for, they will fucking do it. Okay, look at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2, okay? It's an MTV fucking show from the 80s, okay? Music videos out the ass, okay? And James Gunn's known for that. All right, so that's his signature trademark. He did that in the Peacemaker show. He's always throwing in these fucking pop songs that everybody haven't thought about in at least 30 years. Well, then guess what? We're gonna get a lot more of it, and we're getting it here. Okay, so just get ready for a shitload more of this stuff. Now I know why movies do it because they're trying to they're exposing these kids today to songs that they never would have heard of on their own if it hadn't been for something like this. Okay, it's a trope. Marvel Comics does it a lot in their movies, so of course DC's going to rip it off and do the same thing. Okay, they want to expose you some bullshit pop songs that they don't have to spend a lot of money for the rights. Like if they wanted to use like a Madonna song from the 80s, they would have, not only would Madonna get paid a shitload of money, she would get a producer credit for this movie, and she would get a percentage of the profits of this movie. That's what would happen if you wanted to use like fucking Lucky Star or Open Your Heart or any of that kind of shit of hers, okay, which was super popular in the 80s. So they're not going to do that. So they're going to fucking shell out fucking $2,000 for a one-hit wonder song that you have to find now in a fucking back catalog of fucking of fucking oldies fucking songs, CDs and shit, where you can get it for free on YouTube, So that's what they're gonna do, okay? Something that's closer to the public domain, all right? That's what they're gonna fucking do, all right? That's why you're not gonna hear a Michael Jackson or a Prince song in any of these fucking movies, okay? Because they have to spend a shitload of fucking money for the rights to that shit, okay? And they're not gonna do it, okay? So even though we're hearing a cool song, it's not a song by a well-known artist, especially not a well-known artist who's still alive today, like Madonna is. All right. So anyway, so that's going on here. They sneak into the excavation site, even though there's tons of people there. Nobody notices them sneak in. Now I know they went through the gateway to get in there, but nobody noticed them sneak into the actual tunnels underneath the temple. Nobody notices that, okay? Now, like I said, Kareem stays inside the van. Adriana goes in there. This other guy named, I think his name is Samir, he goes in there too. He was asking her about her necklace, which is made of eternium, but she wears it even though fucking everyone's looking for it, and it's worth a shitload of money. She doesn't have to live poor anymore. She sells it, but it's a family heirloom. That's what she holds on to it. Okay, well, she goes in there. Samir goes in there, she goes in there, and this guy Ishmael, he's one of the guys that's with them. He goes in there too. We find out later on he's actually not really with them. He's actually with Intergang. But they all sneak in there, okay? Now, apparently, the reason that this movie gives us for why nobody has found the fucking the Crown of Sabak is because nobody can read ancient Kandakian language except for Adriana, because she was a professor in this shit. So you're gonna tell me that they've been looking for this thing? They've taken on this country for 27 years. We find that out later on in the movie. Okay, they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this excavation to find this Eternium metal. Okay, and yet they couldn't find one motherfucker. Not even her friend, her so-called friend Ishmael, the guy who's in charge of all this shit. Okay, he can't even fucking read ancient Kandakian language, but she can. Okay, so they didn't fucking plan this thing out at all. She's the only one who can read it, and because she can read ancient Kandakian, she knows which tunnels to take to find the fucking. I guess it's the maze under there, right? Now, it doesn't look like a maze, but she's reading it and it's telling her which direction to go. Okay, now we don't see any other tunnels. It's not like it's a maze. We can't see for sure it's a maze. I'm just guessing that. The movie doesn't tell us it's a maze. But there are no locks. There are no doors that they have to open. There are no secret compartments. There are no keys that they need to have in order to fucking get through the next wall. Nothing like that. Okay, so basically any motherfucker can walk in there, because once you walk into the center room, okay, there it is, the Crown of Sabak just floating in the fucking air. Okay, there's nobody there. It's just floating in the fucking air in this well-lit room. And no one's carrying flashlights. It's a well-lit room inside a cavern at night. And this crown just floating up in the air. Okay, so any motherfucker could have walked in off the street and walked straight into that room and found that fucking Eternium. Okay, now they spent tens of millions of dollars on construction equipment right outside. And who knows how many fucking mercenaries they had to fucking hire to do the digging and to guard the area. Okay, and they're not guarding shit because any motherfucker just walk in there. And there it is. Okay, the thing they've been looking for the past 27 years, right there floating in the air. Anybody could have walked in there. Okay, you could have walked right in there. Oh, there it is, right there. How come nobody came through this tunnel? I mean, there's no doors, there's no locks. You know, it's not hidden underneath a big rock or nothing. It's just anybody just walked in there. Yeah. Just go with it. Just go with it. It's a superhero movie, right? Check your brain at the door. Okay, pretty much. So they walk. There it is, floating in the air. Okay, so she decides to climb these two pillars to get up there and reach it and grab it. Okay, so that's what she does. It's there, okay, floating in the air. No one else found it in 27 years except for her, okay. So the only one, like I said, the only one that can read ancient Kandakian language is her. Nobody else in the whole fucking country, okay. Despite the millions of dollars, I'm pretty sure, Intergang could have fucking shelled out $100 to some local motherfucker who could have read the inscriptions on the walls, okay. There got to be somebody out there with a fucking an education besides her. Apparently, there's not even the bad guy. That's because he's got to follow her lead, okay. All right, so anyway, one of the guys disappears while they're going into the tunnel. That's Samir. We find out a moment later, he gets thrown off the fucking cliff, so he dies immediately. Okay, he dies right in front of Samir. Samir's listening to a Baby Come Back from Player, and while he's sitting there listening to this fucking song from the 70s, which I'm pretty fucking sure, I don't understand how he would even know about this song if they live in a country that's been closed off from the rest of the world for 27 fucking years. Okay, but anyway, yeah, and he sees Samir fall and die, so he runs out of the van to go help him. The guy says something, like betrayed, and he dies, right? And all of a sudden, Intergang shows up with their fucking machine guns. Now, Intergang apparently consists of nothing but fucking white British guys, okay? Because when they talk, that's what they say. That's their accent, okay? So, of course, they take fucking Kareem hostage and they go inside. Well, it turns out Ismail, the guy that's in there with Adriana, he's part of Intergang. Okay, he set this all up. He tricked her into going into there so she could find the fucking helmet for him, the crown of Sabak, and that way he can fucking kill her and take the crown himself. He wants the crown of Sabak for himself. Okay, so that was the whole ruse. He was just pretending to be a part of them. Okay, and he's the one that had Samir killed. All right, so there they go. Integrating, they grab Kareem, the fat fuck, and they go inside the cave. All right. They take him hostage. Okay, and like I said, Ismail's the bad guy. Okay. So they get inside the cavern there, and they threaten to kill her brother. They find her; she's got the crown, okay, and they threaten to kill her brother if she doesn't give herself up and give them the crown of Sabak. All right. So of course, they put a gun to Kareem's head. So of course, she gives up. Okay. She gives up, and she gives them the bag, and they take the crown out of there, and then the Intergang guy puts the gun to her head, and she gets on her knees in front of the inscription for the tomb of Black Adam. Okay, he's got the lightning bolt logo right there. Okay, so she's sitting right there. Okay, he's like, any last words? She starts reading the inscription. It's basically a spell to release whoever's in there. Now, let me tell you something. Okay, if you're gonna lock up the most dangerous man, the most powerful man on the planet, okay, if you're gonna lock him up under a magical spell, why the fuck would you inscribe the spell to release him right in front of where he's fucking buried? That makes no fucking sense. Okay, wouldn't you not want anyone to know how to release this guy if he's that dangerous? You know, if you locked him up forever and he cannot die, why would you like that's like leaving a key to a locked door where there's an immortal fucking serial killer behind there. The first thing he's going to do is kill you, and then he's going to kill everybody else, right? Why would you lock him up behind an unbreakable fucking cell and then leave the key to it right in front of there? Okay, don't you think someone's going to pick up the key and open the door? Of course. Okay, so why would you leave the enchantment spell to release him right there in front of his actual tomb? Okay, it makes no fucking sense. But she reads it out loud, of course. Shazam, boom, lightning bolt. This is our introduction to Black Adam. He's wearing the black cape, but he's also wearing the black hood. Okay, the hood that fucking Shazam, Captain Marvel never wears. Okay, he always wears it down. So he's there. Okay, and that's the scene that you saw in the fucking commercial, in the trailer, where they're fucking shooting at him. He's just catching the bullets. He's moving at super speed. Obviously, all the bullets just bouncing off of him, and he's just like, but his face is in shadows because he's got the hood on, the hoodie on. And he's starting to float in the air, and he's starting to electrocute everybody. One of the Intergang guy goes up there. They make a little joke about whose turn is it. I guess they run into fucking powerful electrical supervillains every fucking day. Well, it's this Mexican guy's turn, I guess, because he has like a Mexican name. So they go, or a Hispanic name like me. So he goes up there. Black Adam grabs him by the fucking throat and electrocutes him immediately, turns him into a fucking skeleton and throws him down the ground. And they're all shooting at him. He's grabbing the bullet, looking at it like, well, your magic is weak. Okay, and he starts killing everybody at super speed, okay? Except for Adriana. There's a scene where a big boulder is about to crash on top of her, and instead of him letting her die, like he's killing everybody else. He's just massacring everybody, okay? Even though their bullets can't hurt him, he's massacring everybody, except for her. When a boulder's about to land on her, he fucking blasts it with an electrical blast, and he saves her life. Another boulder falls on top of fucking Ishmael, but he's just trapped. He doesn't get killed. All right, and then he flies away. He flies away. He goes outside. They did call for help before he massacred everybody in the tomb. So now he's outside. There's helicopters, the military helicopters. There's tanks. There's a bunch of soldiers, and they're all armed and they're shooting at him. Okay, and this is the scene you saw in the trailer. They start playing "Fade to Black" by the Rolling Stones. So anyway, meanwhile, Adriana, she grabs the crown, okay, a sabak, and runs out of there with her brother. He's unhurt. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so like I said, Black Adam slaughters everybody in the tomb, and he rips off their body parts. There's a scene where he throws a guy, and he's still holding on to the guy's arm after the body flew away. Okay, he's lightning, super speed, all that kind of shit. Okay, when he gets outside, like I said, you hear the song "Painted Black" by the Rolling Stones. Okay, yeah, they start playing that kind of in slow, and we do the obligatory slow motion scene. Now, the slow motion scene here, the reason we're seeing it is because it was made popular by this movie called X-Men Days of Future Past. Now that movie came out in, I want to say 2014 or 2013. Okay, and in that movie, everybody remembers, okay, the scene with Quicksilver. Okay, where there was a slow-mo scene where Quicksilver used his fucking super speed. Okay, and you heard the song "Time in a Bottle" by James Taylor. Okay, or was it Jim Croce? I don't remember. I think it was Jim Croce, but it might have been James Taylor. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. And basically, Evan Peters did play Quicksilver in that movie, even though fucking Aaron Taylor Johnson played Quicksilver in the Avengers Age of Ultron movie, and both of them played Kick-Ass in the Kick-Ass movies. And they both play Quicksilver. Anyway, so he did the whole scene where he's running at super speed to that song. I think it was Jim Croce or James Taylor, whatever. Everybody remembers that scene. Everybody talked about it. That was the most popular thing about that movie, was that scene where he was running in slow motion. So now all the superhero movies copy off that scene. Bryan Singer himself copied off of that scene. He brought Quicksilver back 3 years later, I think it was, for X-Men Age of Apocalypse, and Quicksilver gets another music video in that one. Okay, that one was Annie Lennox from the Eurythmics singing Sweet Dreams. Okay, and in that one, Quicksilver's back, even though it's supposed to take place 10 years later. And of course, he's moonwalking and saving the entire school from an explosion in slow motion. Okay, so this has become a trope. That's the reason I'm bringing it up. X-Men, Bryan Singer started it back when he had a career before they found out that he was molesting little boys, and now he lost his career. Okay, but back then we didn't know that. So now all the superhero movies are doing that now. They're all adding a slow-mo scene played to some fucking pop song. Okay, and this movie is no different. Okay, I think fucking Suicide Squad, the one from 2016, did this exact same thing like 15 fucking different times in that movie. Okay, but it happens in every superhero movie. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Now you know why it happens. Okay, because it was something that people were talking about. It was trending. Okay, now all the superhero movies do it now. And Black Adam, this is their scene in Black Adam doing it. All right, so you hear the song "Painted Black" by the Rolling Stones. Okay, while he's killing everybody, and I don't understand how the fuck does he know how grenades work? He's been locked up for 5,000 years. He would not know what a grenade is or how it works. Okay, it's easy to figure out what a bullet is because he grabbed one. He realized, okay, they're shooting these things at me. They're little arrows, but they can't hurt me. That kind of thing. Okay, but I don't understand how he understood how fucking grenades work. Okay, but I guess he does. I guess that's the wisdom of Heritu. Okay, now a lot of people were complaining. I've seen other reviews about this movie. A lot of people were complaining. How the fuck is it that Black Adam, who's an Egyptian, okay, from 5,000 years ago, how come he wakes up, okay, in the modern era and he speaks like a fucking American? Okay, well, the reason, in English no less, okay, the reason is because of the wisdom of Heritu, okay, or is it the wisdom? Oh yeah, Zehuti. The wisdom of Zehuti, that's one of his powers, which means that allows him to be able to understand languages, to understand everything, okay? He's got superhuman intelligence. That's one of his powers. Everyone forgets that stuff because when you think about Captain Marvel, the Shazam character, everyone forgets that one of his powers is the wisdom of Solomon. Okay, that's why they always write him, even today, that's why they always write him as a stupid little fucking kid in an adult superhuman body. That is not Captain Marvel, that is not Shazam. Okay, when he turns into Captain Marvel, he is an adult, he thinks like an adult, and he has a superhuman genius level IQ. He doesn't talk like a fucking, even though the kid that plays him is like 13 or 14, but when he turns into Captain Marvel, he acts like he's fucking 8 or 9. Okay, despite that, okay, he's supposed to be more mature. When he turns into an adult, he acts like an adult. When he turns into a kid, he acts like a kid. That's the point. But they didn't do that. They wanted to turn fucking the Shazam character into the fucking modern day version of Big with Tom Hanks. And that is not what Shazam is. When he turns into an adult, he acts like an adult too. In fact, his intelligence is smarter than everyone else on the planet. He's a fucking superhuman intelligence. He does not act like a dopey, stupid little kid. Oh my God, that's all Fast and Furious, all about family. Oh, no, that is not fucking Captain Marvel. But everyone does that. Everyone turns him into that because they don't want to compete Captain Marvel with Superman. Okay, that's why they do it. They got to make fucking Shazam stupid so that they can make Superman look cooler. You see what I mean? Otherwise, he's just a knockoff of Superman. That's why they do it, okay? Because in the original comic books, Shazam, Captain Marvel was not a fucking dumb fuck in a superhuman adult body, okay? He was actually a mature adult with superhuman intelligence. When he turned back into a kid, that's when he acted like the dumb fuck little kid that he really was, okay? But anyway, the movie's got it wrong, and this is why, okay? So that is why Black Adam can understand the modern day languages, all right? So anyway, so he wipes out everybody. He wipes out all the intergang soldiers. He wipes out the tanks. Okay, he does get hit with Eternium. One of the missiles that explodes in front of him has Eternium metal in it, and that hurts him. So he tries to fly away from it, but he crash lands on the ground. Now he's unconscious with a gash on his stomach from the Eternium when it wounded him. Now he was shocked more than anyone else that this could wound him. I guess that metal they're all digging for can actually hurt Black Adam. Okay, so he's knocked out unconscious. Adriana and Kareem, they decide to take him back to their house, okay, and revive him and help him out. All right. Not because they want to help him. They know this guy's a fucking superhuman murderer. All right, they've seen him do it, but they also think that he's the champion of Kahndaq. Okay, and therefore they want to help him. That he's some sort of superhero who's going to save their country. I guess they've been getting invaded by different countries for the past 5,000 years. You would think that they would eventually just develop their own military, you know, and just fucking defend themselves after 5,000 years of the same thing happening over and over again. Then you would think that they would do that, but I guess not. I guess not. They're going to need him. Okay, so yeah, so so they decide to bring him back home. Okay. Meanwhile, Ishmael awakens from the tomb. He's a bad guy. Okay, he digs himself out of the boulder that Black Adam threw on top of him. He kills one of his own guys because remember he was only pretending to be an archaeologist with her. You know, he was actually with the bad guys. But one of the bad guys punched him when they took him prisoner because they wanted Adriana to think that he was being held prisoner like her brother was, like she is. Okay, but he punched him. He said, "Hey, I told you to make it look real. I did not tell you to punch me." So he fucking kills one of his own guys and radios in his cohorts. Hey, listen, the guy got free. Okay, they've got the helmet. They've got the crown of Sabak. And this is who's got it, and we need to go to her house and go get it back, all right? Boom. Okay, so I'm going to end my review right here. This is the end of part 5. I will be back very soon with part 6, and we're going to go over some more Black Adam, all right? All right, thank you for watching this long, and I'll see you soon on the next one.